here's a good side shot. And these are bombs here. And the bombs are tied with a series of straps onto this long stick looking thing, which is a piece of heavy duty rope. It's probably capacity of 10,000 pounds if I remember right. And then there's a piece of PVC pipe stretched over the rope with the loop on the end. So you hold on to the bottom, and as the helicopter comes down, right about here, you can almost see it in the picture, is where the hook is. And so as the helicopter comes down, you reach up and you snag the hook, and once you've got it firmly on there, you just come running back, and right across the bottom of the picture here is the foul line. The helicopter pilots wait for you to get to the foul line, and then they start lifting up. And you can't really see it in this scan, but right here is a second helicopter. So usually we would be typically flying around with two of them. Also of note, this is aircraft 7. This is one of our... I actually am going to point this out because I didn't do that anyway. So this is actually a picture from Desert Storm also. So this is the Kilauea. Yeah, Kilauea there, USNS Kilauea right across the stub wing, which is where the landing gear is mounted and the fuel tanks are in the stub wings. So we would, whenever we were attached to a ship, we would put the ship's name on the stub wings. Up on here it says Navy HC5, which is our squadron, and then Detachment 4 of Det 4. Again, here's where the sticker is for the squadron. And right at the top of this picture, you don't really see it, is the last 4 numbers of the BUNO number, which is the serial number. Oh, okay, cool. And this is, we're probably just practicing because we've only got one load on deck. That's pretty untypical for when we were doing full ops. This is the only good picture I've got available right now of the actual full side of the helicopter, and this is one of our squadron helicopters, so the markings are the same, but it's not the actual helicopter we had in Desert Storm. So up here on the aft pylon, 5 yellow golden stars, and R and B. And I don't remember anybody ever explaining it to me, but the letters on there are kind of the designation of the battle group that we were part of most of the time, and that never changed. So our squadron was part of a group, and that group all had RB somewhere. So also, I don't know if this really shows or not, but all these white lines here, there is foot holes in the side of the aircraft. And so when you were up on top coming down, you would basically, you couldn't see where the footholes were, but the foothole was in line with the white line. So as you were coming down, you would just run your toe down the white line, and it would eventually hit the hole, and you put your foot in, then you'd have a step. Probably the only good picture I've got right now of the blades folded, so you can see they all fold together also. Now the reason this helicopter is being hoisted, this is not something we do very often. We were in the Philippines, and there had been a aircraft mishap that affected another squadron of these type aircraft. And at the time we were there, we didn't know what the mishap was exactly. They knew an aircraft had crashed, but they didn't know the details yet. And so as a precautionary measure, whenever there's a mishap of unknown reason, they always ground all the aircraft of that type in case there was a mechanical failure, so that we don't have another one while they're doing the investigation. So we had both of our helicopters on the beach in the Philippines, and we couldn't fly. And in the end, when it was time to leave the Philippines, they put both helicopters on a barge and then pushed the barge over to where the ship was, and then we craned them onto the ship. And I've got a couple other pictures of that, but this is the best side view. So yeah, that's not something we would do very often, but The aircraft, all Navy aircraft, and probably all military aircraft in general, are set up for craning. So right on top of the landing gear points here are crane points, and up towards the front, I forget exactly. I think it's actually part of the helicopter forward transmission mount was the crane point. Anyway, so that'd be that. Let me do this one first. This is, I found this on Google. This squadron that I was a part of is no longer established as such. The same squadron has become a completely different squadron now, and they fly a different kind of helicopter and everything. So I do have a better picture of this, I just don't have it where I can get to it easily. So that is that. The top banner says Providers, which was our squadron name, and then Hellsupron 5, which is HELSUPPRON 5, Helicopter Support Squadron 5, that's what that stands for. And this, the bottom part of the 5, is a pretty good representation of what the cargo hook looks like, which I don't have any good detailed pictures of it, but basically you hang the load onto here, and when it's time to let go of the load, they just flip a latch and this whole bottom of the thing just releases and the load just falls off. And then the crewman in the back will just reach down and pull this arm up until it clicks, and then you're ready to go again. It's pretty quick. So they can just flip a latch and the whole load just drops. Typically they would, have it sitting on the ground first when they dropped it, but again, the 5 stars. Shot of the Earth covering our area of operations. So Japan, Guam, Australia, the islands, India, I think. I'd have to look at a map again now, but that's basically, North Arabian Sea, Persian Gulf area right there. So that was where we operated from. Okay, this detail is up on the front. Now, I decided to do this the opposite direction, namely because this is going to be the front of the book, and so I wanted to have the front of the helicopter and the guy sitting here, and then the back half of the book will be from here back, so it'll be like so. I might have to tweak that a little bit as we get there. So anyway, the squadron sticker is forward of the door. Now, part of this I'm doing for Christine's benefit, because me explaining this in email would take about as long as it does to talk.